Hi everyone, Emil Husson here, and it is great to be back out on the road with my camera. We're in coastal South Carolina off Edisto Beach, and in an area known as the Boneyard. We're heading toward that beach to get some amazing driftwood and beach scenes. Well, I horribly misjudged the time it would take to get out here, so I missed dawn and blue hour, but we can look at this as a scouting trip and get whatever light we can, and then maybe come back this evening or tomorrow morning and get some more. But we're just enjoying the walk out here. It's beautiful even on the way out to the beach. There's a lot of driftwood and a lot of bleached out trees and a lot of mosquitoes. I seem to end up in a lot of places with mosquitoes. But there are a lot of places to see along the way, and I'm just happy to be out getting these shots while I can. All right, we've stopped along the way to catch a beautiful sculptural piece of driftwood, and so I had to switch lenses. I had my 70 to 200 on, but I just couldn't get far enough back, otherwise I would have been in the water. So instead I went to my 24 to 70, and we'll see what we can get with that. Now I'm bracketing this mainly because the sky is so blown out. I may want to brush some of those tones in later, but also the driftwood itself has so many nuances to it that I may want to put some of those back if I can't get enough out of the raw image. So I'm just going one EV up, one EV down, the usual exposure bracketing process, just to make sure I can get everything.
It's calling me, like the rainbow, It's calling me, like the rainbow, the rainbow.
Alright, this is it. This is Boneyard Beach, an embarrassment of riches for driftwood and photography. So the real question is where to start. And one of the things we need to do is look around, find out where the best lighting is. We did get here a little bit late for sunrise, so it may be a trip tomorrow morning and you'll see more of this. But we're going to at least scout out some really nice pieces and see what we can catch. I'm looking for anything that might be of interest, everything from the big picture to textures of the wet driftwood. So anything that might show up along the way as something fascinating. Might have to switch lenses, I might have to change my expectations, but in any event, there's just so much here to shoot, it's hard to know where to start. So this piece here over my shoulder is really compelling for me, especially if I can get it in a long exposure that softens the action of the waves. So I'm going to set up for that, and then I'll tell you what I'm going through with it. So I've ended up with a polarizer and a 6-stop neutral density filter, and that leaves us with 8 seconds of exposure time at f/22 with an ISO that is artificially lowered a bit, and that just gives us enough softness in the water to give us a really dreamy exposure. Now, it also helps to time the exposure with incoming waves so that you can get that softness surrounding the tree itself. So now we're going to try that. I think we might have a winner there. So this is one of those locations where I didn't get much of a chance to scout it before coming out to shoot. Now I may come back tomorrow, and that's going to give me an advantage when I hit the beach at sunrise, hopefully. But what it also does is it points out how important it is to have a few things in your toolkit before you hit a location. Things like knowing how to shoot a long exposure in the surf, or knowing how to take advantage of a good sun angle, and what settings, what lenses you want to use. You could work quickly, you can work accurately, and you can capture the shot without ever having been to that location before. You don't have to practice, you don't have to take your time to get the shot set up. Having said that, it will be nice to have a chance to come back here tomorrow morning and actually catch sunrise and do some of the things that I had been wanting to do, which is see the location first. One of the joys of digital photography is you can burn up a lot of images for practice, and you can see what you did wrong, see what you did right, and hone your skills without it really costing you all that much. And then when you do have the chance to come out to an amazing location like this, you can save your time and put that time instead into actually capturing the shots you want to capture. Good morning, it's day 2, and I've finally gotten up at a decently indecent hour to get out here to catch the sunrise over the Boneyard beach at the north end of Bulls Island. So we're going to walk out, and we'll bypass all of the other amazing sights because it's going to be dark, and we'll get set up for a sunrise shot. It is absolutely beautiful out here at sunrise, and one of the nice things about having been out here yesterday is I don't have to stop and catch everything that I saw on the way out here on our scouting trip, which I'm now calling it a scouting trip because this is what we're really going for. so we can just enjoy the scenery and maybe catch some of it on the way out. But what we're really here for is the sunrise over the beach, over those bone white trees. So we'll just enjoy the view for now, and if we see something that we like on the way out, we can stop and get that. But for now, it's to the beach. Absolutely beautiful. The tide's a bit higher than it was yesterday at this time, of course, but we will set up and catch the sunrise, which should be right over there in just about a half hour. In order to know exactly where the sun's coming up, I'm using an app called Photo Pills, which gives me an augmented reality view of the horizon, so I can see exactly where the sun will be rising in about 10 minutes. Ah, mosquitoes. Me without one spray. All right. I'll share my view with you. So this tells me it's going to be rising right through those trees, which if I come over a little bit more, I can scope out exactly where I want to see it come up, which ideally would be right in those limbs. So this would be a good spot for me, so I'll move around and catch that. Now at this point it's a waiting game. We have 8 minutes until sunrise, and I just have to fight the little biting insects that are swarming around me, whatever they are, midges or gnats or whatever. And I want to make sure that my camera settings are right. I've got all my batteries charged up so that nothing can fail me, he said. But the scramble at the last moment is going to be making sure that I can get both the foreground trees and the sunrise in the right exposure. And that might mean doing some exposure blending. Doing some exposure blending down the road, but I've got everything set up. I know where the sun's gonna rise, and so it's just a matter of waiting to catch that moment. And I might do some slight shifting from one side to the other to get the right framing in between tree branches. But otherwise, I'm ready. When you can control everything else, but you can't control the time the sun's gonna rise, you just test, test, test. Now, right now, I'm going to drop my ISO down some. I'm at ISO 100, f/16, so I can get as much depth of field as possible. And that leaves me with a shutter speed of 1/25, which I'm going to check out now. Just do some fine tuning. It's a little bit on the dark side, but I could probably still use this to brush in some some tone and color later on. So let's go to 115th. And that's looking a little bit better, because when that sun comes up, that's going to be just that hot spot of light right in the middle. And I want to make sure that that's not getting blown out, and that the clouds around it aren't getting blown out. Okay, still looking good. And yes, we should have brought bug spray. Now there is some haze on the horizon, and that may delay what we see. Oh, there's the sun. Okay, there is the sun. And it's gorgeous. Yes, perfect, perfect. All right, I'm just going to get as much of this as I can. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I've got it right in the arm of that tree. Thank you, Photo Pills. So as the sun rises slowly in the east, I want to thank you for joining me. We're off to get some breakfast. And if you like this content, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Please comment if you have any questions or any comments. If you've been to the Boneyard and you want to share your experiences, I'd love to hear it. So thank you for joining me, and tune in again.